first question is the Fed nomination.
Yes.
So what happened with that? Because you initially were nominated, then
Right.
later it was withdrawn. The president tweeted about it. How were you notified about the withdrawal?
I was not officially nominated. Larry Kudlow called me and said that he and the president would like for me to consider it. So I didn't know all that was involved. I collected all the information they were asking for, and at the same time I talked to people about, okay, if I were to become officially nominated, I was on consideration phase, and make it through the confirmation, what are the things that I could not do, or what were the things that I could continue to do. This was the deal breaker. I couldn't continue to have my website, hermancain.com. I couldn't continue to do my daily show, which is posted on my website, hermancain.com, every day. I couldn't do keynote speaking and be direct and talk about the things that I want to talk about. I couldn't criticize Democrats. I couldn't criticize Republicans. I couldn't criticize rhinos. I couldn't talk. And so it was not a good fit. But I did not know this going in. And so I can tell you when it happened. So the Monday after Easter, I worked on collecting data for 6 weeks on the last 50 years of my life because I was seriously considering it. Then, after I collected all of the information, Saturday before Easter, I'll never forget, I prayed, Lord, help me make this decision. I woke up the next morning and the Lord had helped me make that decision. I called Larry Kudlow Monday morning after Easter. So Larry, I don't want the president to formally nominate me. And I gave him all of the reasons why. It said it's not a good fit. I'm honored that I was being considered, but it's not a good fit. He says, okay, let me talk to the president. He called the president and within an hour got back to me and said, we understand. You're a good man, Herman Cain. Like, you're a good man, Charlie Brown. Because I was honest. When I started, I didn't know what all was involved, and I didn't know all of the restrictions that would be imposed upon me as a government employee.
Well, as you know, some lawmakers were critical of the nomination when
Right.
it was released. Do you think you were qualified for the position and you could have handled it?
I was overqualified for the position. They didn't know what they were talking about. They didn't know me. They didn't know my background. Look, how do you define qualifications for the Federal Reserve Board of Governors? I served on the Regional Federal Reserve Board of Kansas City. My undergraduate degree is in mathematics. I understand analytics and analysis. My graduate degree is in computer science. I happen to have been in business for 50 years. What are they talking about? I understand business. I understand people. And I understand the rules that they try to imply. I know how the Fed rate trickles down to the banks, and the banks roll it on down to their customers, this sort of thing. I've been on the receiving end of a lot of their decisions. So being able to conceptualize economic analyses, statistical analyses, and everything else that they do, I've been doing that all of my life. So the people who were critical of me said that I was not qualified. They did not know what they were talking about, period. And I was willing to take them on if I had gotten to that phase. But it wasn't a good fit. That was it.
But you think you could have made it through if you kept going and you
Oh,
went
yeah.
through the whole process?
Oh, yeah.
You would have been on the board?
Yeah, I believe I would have. I had already planned to go talk to some of the senators who were saying they questioned my qualifications. I don't have a problem confronting people, and I would have sat down with those that was questioning my qualifications, and I would have walked them through my qualifications. They weren't getting it from their staffs. They weren't getting it from anybody. They were just, I don't know for what reason. That's why I wanted to sit down with them. I was beginning to set up meetings. I had someone who was going to help me to meet with all of the ones who had questions and doubts. I don't mind going in and selling my own case. I don't know where they got that idea, but I didn't have a problem going in and selling my own case to those people who were doubtful. And by the time I walked out, they still could have been doubtful, but do it after you hear from me directly.
And then you have Steve Moore. He's not being considered either anymore. Do you think he would have been good on the board?
I think Steve would have been good on the board. I don't know why he's not being formally nominated either. We have not talked. I know Steve. I have a lot of respect for him. I thought he was a good choice also. So I don't know the reasons why he's not going to be formally nominated, because we have not had a chance to talk.
Yeah, I think some of his past writings have been going
Right.
around on social media
Right.
about some things he said about women pay versus male pay. So I don't know
See,
what's going to happen with that.
here's the thing about this whole process that's kind of crazy. I'm gonna soften it up just a little bit. I've been working in the workforce for 50 years. One of the questions that they ask when I'm collecting all this information: have you given any speeches that you said some things controversial? Yes. Are you kidding me? Nearly every speech I give is controversial. Here's another one. Have you written any commentary or books that might be controversial? Yes. I've written 6 books. I write commentary at least once a week for my website. It's always controversial. Why? Because I tell it like it is. We live in a politically correct society in some people's books. I don't try to speak politically correct. I try to speak directly, and that's controversial with some people.
You think that society is too politically correct right now?
Some people are. Some people in society are too politically correct, but some people are still honest enough to be direct. So I wouldn't generalize and say that all of society is. In other words, no matter what you say, somebody's not going to like it. I spoke at Dartmouth College last week. I said, before I spoke to the Dartmouth College Republicans and the other people in the room, I said, they gave me a very nice introduction. I said, I'm Herman Cain. I said, let me warn you all up front. I'm going to say something you're not going to like, because this is not going to be a politically correct speech. I warned them up front that it wasn't going to be politically correct, because I don't try to worry about political correctness. If you worry too much about political correctness with the experience that I have and the things that I have done, you're not going to be able to come across with the ideas or with the passion that I naturally have. So political correctness, I think, sometimes is very dangerous for our society, with some people. And so I don't worry about trying to be politically correct. If I offend people, I offend people.